Happy Easter, everyone. I had someone ask me a few questions that I thought I would go over and then share with everybody. It was on, most of them were on finding the sample size. One was finding a critical value for t, and another one was a sample size. So let's look at these three problems. In a poll, 51% of people polled answered yes to the question, are you in favor of the death penalty? The margin of error for the poll was 5%, and the estimate was made with a 95% confidence. At least how many people were surveyed? So we can actually do this on StatCrunch. It will find this for us. Just like when we're doing our confidence interval, we would go to proportion stats, one sample. Now, we've been going to do a confidence interval to either with data or with summary most of the times, but there's also a sample size. So confidence interval width. So now let's see what information we need to get in here. It wants to know our confidence level, which I can see up here says 95%, so that's good. In a poll, 51% of the people polled answered yes. So that is our target proportion, 51. Now, the width is a thing that's tricky sometimes to find on this. The width is the margin of error in the poll was 5%. So the margin of error is talking about the plus or minus from that proportion, that 51%. So if it's 5%, that width would be 5% to the left and 5% to the right. So we'd had a width of 0.10. And now we can compute our sample size, and we get 384. So let's verify that. So StatCrunch will find you sample sizes. Let's look at another sample size one. This one, we're given a sample standard deviation, how many subjects are needed to estimate the mean HDL cholesterol within 2 points. So that's plus or minus 2 points. So let's look at this one. We know that we want to be 99% confident. 90% confident. Oh, we're doing 99% first. Our standard deviation was 10.7 within 2 points. So if we go to StatCrunch again and go to, again, this one would be a t-stat, one sample, and then sample size. So when we go to confidence interval width, we got 99%. Our standard deviation, I believe, was 10.7. 10.7. And it was within 2 points. So that's plus 2 points, minus 2 points. So that would be a width of 4. And it comes back with a sample size of 194. Let's check that. Good job. I'd like for them to say like high five and fun things. And then you do the same thing for 90%. So again, just go to your calculator, and instead of doing your confidence interval, go to sample size. Last one that was asked was finding these t-values. And finding t-values, you can do that on StatCrunch as well. There also is a table in your book that you can look up, but I just rather use StatCrunch. So, sorry, go to Stat, then Calculator, then a t-calculator. So we've gone to normal calculator, we've gone to binomial calculator, but when we have something that has a normal shape to it, but has a small sample size or unknown population standard deviation, we go to T, And they give us, all we have to type in is degrees of freedom, and then maybe what we're looking for, and then we can find the probability. Or maybe we type in the probability and find out this t value. So like on this one, find the critical value that corresponds to 60% confidence. Assume 28 degrees of freedom. Now, when you're at 60% confidence, that means you have 20% to the left, 20% to the right. So if I'm looking for a t value, and what was our degrees of freedom? 28 degrees of freedom. Oops. 28 degrees of freedom. So that means 20% would be the left, 20% would be the right, and would have 60% in the middle. That's how you would have to work this problem. So this one I got negative 0.855. Whenever you do I think it should accept positive 855 well. I guess when we're looking at critical values, there are always plus or minus. So I would just go with the positive number in the 0.855. But that's how you would find it. Like if we want to look at this one, 22 degrees of freedom, and the right tail is 0.15. So in StatCrunch, 22 degrees of freedom, the right tail 0.15. So we have 22 degrees of freedom, and we wanted the right side of the tail to be 0.15. Oh, 0.15. This will give us our t value, right? This is our t value. 1.06, 1.06. So that's how you can use the t calculator, also how to find some sample sizes. Hope you all are having a great day, and let me know if you have any more questions.